Hello and welcome to Rose-Colored Glasses. My name is Nanette, and on this channel we explore goddess archetypal energies. I concentrate on the goddess because they're the creative manifesting power. It's a feminine energy, a divine feminine energy, and we have a divine masculine energy, and we want to balance the two to create the life we desire. And a lot of the things we do in our current world are very masculine. And so I want to bring about some more of the feminine energies so we can create more of the magical life that we're looking for. So today I'm doing a pick a card. I'm using the Celtic Goddess Oracle by Judith Shaw. And I've shuffled and been given these 3 cards. And the idea in the pick a card is to pick the card that resonates with you. But you're welcome to stick around for all 3. Sometimes the goddesses weave their energies together and create a higher energetic power for you to use, or you can go straight to the card that you're wanting to check the message out for. There'll be a timestamp below. If you're returning to the channel, thank you. I really appreciate you. I hope you're working with these energies and you're getting some good benefits out of them. If you're new to the channel, welcome. I hope you like this information. I hope it resonates with you and that you also get some great benefits from it. So let's get started. Oh, sorry. This is card 1, 2, and 3. So if you chose card number 1, you've got Grania. So as you can see, there's a few things of this. She's associated with grain. You can see the grain in her hand. Her marriage to as a son of the god of the underworld, their connection created grain. But it's their connection because they were opposites. She was light. She's a sun goddess. And so she was considered the light, and since he was a son of god of the underworld, kind of considered the dark. And it was this combination of opposites. And I believe that's why she's here today, is to remind us of our opposites, or the Hermetic principle of polarity. So one of the things that I like working with these energies for is that energy is not really good or bad. It's whatever we connect with it and alchemize it into is where the connection comes. And so what I mean by that is if we consider something bad, then the energy around it from our perspective is bad. If we consider something good, then the energy around it from our perspective is good. Excuse me. So like the earth doesn't consider energy good or bad. So if we were to sit on the earth and do a meditation and release what we consider negative energy into the earth takes that energy and utilizes it in the way that it feels necessary to utilize it. It doesn't consider the energy that we just released to them as bad energy. It just considers it as energy. So the practice for Grania would be to use the Hermetic principles of polarity. So the idea there is that if we are in a state of, say, fear, to imagine the state of safety and start feeling what safety would feel like and transmute the energy of fear into the energy of safety. Or if we feel unworthy, to sit there with worthiness and transmute the energy of unworthiness into worthiness. You can't rip those energies out of you. You can transmute them. So the whole idea of going back and trying to dig it out is not going to happen. It's not happening. But you can imagine that energy to be something else and transmute it into the energy that you would like it transmuted into. So call on Grania to imbue you with the capability to transmute this energy, and then feel into whatever that polarity is, that opposite is of the state that you're in. So if it's in worry, then maybe calm or peace. And sit in your meditation and say, okay, what would calm feel like to me? What would peace feel like to me? And just sit within that energy and transmute your worry into calm or peace. Now, it could happen instantaneously, but it might take a little bit of practice. And each time you do it, it's like the snowball effect. That transmutation gets bigger and bigger towards the positive side that you're looking for. And then you'll start to recognize when you fall back into worry really quickly, and you'll more easily be able to transmute that into that calm or peace. And you can do this for each of those emotional states that you don't want to be in. So if you're in anger, what's the opposite of anger? Is it joy? Is it happiness? Is it peace as well? So then how would you like to transmute that? What do those emotional states feel like? And start sitting with those and start generating that energetic perspective of what does joy or happiness feel like, or serenity feel like, and then transmute your anger into that. Unworthiness, fear, worry, anxiety, any of those, start taking whatever you feel the opposite is and transmute that energy. And call on Grania for assistance. She'd be willing to help you think about her and her essence and step into her essence to transmute that energy if that helps you. In whatever way it helps you. You can use these goddesses or other characters in your life that represent those characteristics to help give you that boost of confidence to step into those energies. So that's Grania. She's here to remind us that we can transmute opposites and transmute that energy to get positive results in our lives. So I hope this resonated with you. I hope you use that practice. And thank you for being here. So if you chose card number 2, you've got Boan. So she's, as you can tell by the picture here at the bottom, she has a well. She's been associated with the beginning of rivers. That's why she's the salmon of knowledge down there. She's also associated with the white cow, which has been associated with water or milk, all life-giving properties. But Boan is also the goddess of poetry, writing, fertility, inspiration, knowledge, and creativity. And I believe she's here today in regards to her poetry and writing. Because we have the internet, we have texting, we have all these other faculties or things that facilitate our being able to connect with people, we've really lost the art of writing. And like true writing, not just typing a text message or an email. And I think that it's truly one of those things that needs to come back. I heard somebody say they don't even teach kids cursive anymore. And cursive is just such a beautiful writing technique. It's like records. Records have come back. We need to bring writing back. And so Boan is here to remind us of poetry and writing and how important it is in our lives to create a really positive, energetic situation for ourselves. So some practices that you could use is you could write a poem for yourself or a poem for a loved one. I like to do a lot of self-care because I think once we create an energetic aspect for ourselves, then we draw in like situations for ourselves. And if we really want to create some positive change in our life, I think it needs to start with us. So writing a poem to yourself, or even a love letter to yourself. One of the practices I like to do is get note cards and write things to myself in the note cards, and then I put them in a bag and I pick one out and send it to myself in the mail. I've forgot what's on those cards, so when I get it, it's a true surprise, whatever's written in there. And I'll put in things like, it could be song lyrics or a poem, or just a reminder to myself about taking the time to care for myself, and that I am worthy of that. Or I'll put little things in there like stickers or tattoos or something fun, so when I get it, there's something fun in there. Even maybe like a small gift card, so I can go have a cup of coffee. It just seems like a nice gift. And it's really fun to get mail that's not a bill or not an advertisement, something that's personal to you. So that's another idea to create that fun, energetic aspect for yourself. Another one is, I'm sorry, I don't even remember the artist's or the author's name, but she has a book called The Artist's Way, and she does these things called morning pages. And so she gets up in the morning and she gets a journal and just starts writing whatever comes to mind. Sometimes it can be, kind of gibberish like, but whatever spews out of her head onto the page is what she writes. And it's a form of meditation. It's a writing meditation. And then also you're getting all that stuff out of your head. You can also do that at night. If your day was kind of challenging, just writing the stuff out onto the paper and just like tearing it up, throwing it away. Like this release of that stuff out of your head so that you don't need to be concerned about it anymore. So Bowen's here to remind us that writing and poetry are a very important aspect of our lives, or should be a very important aspect of our lives. And if they're not within your lives, how can you incorporate that to bring about an energetic change for yourself, a positive energetic change? Is that writing love letters to yourself, writing love letters to your other loved ones, writing a poem for yourself or others? It's really fun to even just write note cards to others. I mean, they're not expecting that. So when they get a postcard or a note card in the mail, or little note cards in their lunches, or whatever, little posted notes around the house. Another thing is like take river rocks and paint them, and then take a Sharpie and write stuff on them and put them different places in your yard or around town. Let's just use writing and whatever creative aspect that comes to you to create some levity in life, some fun in life. Whether it's directed solely to you or to others, will bring you that happiness and joy of writing and poetry. So that's Bowen. Call on her to give you inspiration on how you're going to use writing and poetry to create some levity and fun in your life. I thank you for being here. I hope this resonates with you. Any likes, shares, and subscribes are greatly appreciated. So if you chose card number 3, you've got Ceridwen. So she's known as the Celtic goddess of transformation, knowledge, the moon, magic, agriculture, and astrology. But you see in her picture here, she has a cauldron. And so in Celtic lore, a cauldron is kind of like a womb. It's the place that things can be created. It's the manifesting power that cauldron is. And it's a cauldron of all potentiality, all possibilities. And so Ceridwen, I believe she's here today to remind us of the immense possibilities, the immense potential potentiality that's out there for us, and how we pinch it off a bit. And if we stop pinching it off, true magic can happen for ourselves. And I'll just share a little story with you about how we pinch it off, and maybe then you can associate this with things in your life. I was flying home, and I was getting to the airport. I was getting to my home airport early. The flight had good tailwinds and was coming in quite a bit early. And so I still had to wait for my transport back to my car. And my transport wasn't scheduled for a little bit over an hour from when I landed. And it was late at night, and I really love my sleep, so I thought I was getting a little bummed by the whole thing. I was excited at first that I was getting back to my home airport early, but then once I realized I had to wait for my transport, I bummed myself out. So then I started thinking about this whole idea of potentiality and all the possibilities, and how we can't even fathom the possibilities that the universe can put together for us. We just need to get out of our own way. And as I started thinking about that, I'm like, what the heck? I'm going out to the transport spot. Because at first I was just going to wander around the airport for an hour. So I went out to the transport spot, and within, I don't even think it was 5 minutes, a van rolled up. And the gentleman jumped out and he says, "Are you so-and-so?" I said, "No, actually, I don't have a transport for another hour." I said, "But if you're going my way, can I catch a ride with you?" And he said he didn't think that would be a problem. He only had one passenger, and he had to drop them off, and then he could drop me off, because where my car was where his last destination was. So I was like, oh goody. So he's like, "Let me call headquarters and make sure that'll be okay, so that they can let the other transport know you won't be on it." So he calls there, and they said, "Well, you have 3 more riders, and so you won't be able to give her a ride home, because by the time you did that, she'd be later than she would if she took her transport." I said, all right, well, still tried to keep the positive thoughts that, there's anything's possible. And I waited around with him, and we sat there for, I don't know, about 5 minutes or so talking. And then I said, "Well, when do you got to leave? Because they've got to keep to a schedule." And he goes, "Well, I've got to leave in a few minutes here." So we talked for another minute or two, and then all of a sudden he stood up, he grabbed my bag and put it in the back of the truck, and opened the van to let me in. And not one of his passengers had showed up. And so we got in the van and we're driving away, and he says, "I have never, ever, ever had that happen, where none of my scheduled passengers showed up." So that just shows you that if we open up to the potentiality, to the possibilities in life, that the universe can put together things that we could have never imagined, because neither him nor I could ever have imagined that his scheduled riders, that none of them would have showed up. But yet they didn't, and he didn't have to ride to his final destination by himself, and I got to be to my car an hour early and get into bed an hour early. So Caradwyn is here to remind us that that cauldron that she has is just spinning with possibilities. And the universe can line up things that we could have never imagined to get us to our end destination. And that when we start putting it in our head of exactly how something needs to happen, that the universe gets all out of whack and doesn't know what to do with that. And usually just delivers us the way we think it should go. And that's not always in our best interest. So when we can just be light and just go with the moment and hope for the best, or have faith in the best, then the universe has the opportunity to line up situations for us to create a possibility that we could have never imagined, that for that instance is in our best interest. So the idea here is just to have faith that the universe has your back, say things like, everything's always working out for me, and really feel into that. Just saying it without the feeling behind it isn't going to get you anywhere. You kind of have to believe it. So start witnessing where things have worked out for you, and start building a belief that things do work out for you, and start reciting that in your head, that things are always working out for me. And then just be light about it and say, let's see what happens. Why not? Anything's possible. That's another one. Anything's possible. I love that one. You start saying to yourself, anything's possible, and things can really shine forward for you. So let's start changing your belief system around the possibilities. There's more possibilities than we could ever imagine. There's more creative ways to make things happen than we could ever imagine. Let the universe do the hard work of putting all that together for us and then presenting it to us. And just have faith that things work out for you and that anything's possible. So that's Caradwyn. You can call on her to give you the, I don't know if it's courage. I don't even know what the right word is. But if you think about it and it works for you, then great. The faith, the believability that anything's possible, that, the universe is a creative master. And just start changing your belief system into that there are an abundance of possibilities, so anything's possible, and that you have the faith to let the universe play out those possibilities in a delightful way for you. So you can say things like that. I want to see how this works out for me in a delightful way. So whatever you connect with in regards to that, just start working with those energies as you meditate to start changing up your belief system. And each day, look for things that have worked out for you, and sit with those and remind yourself that things are working out for you, and that there are a lot of possibilities that you could have never recognized, and that you're open to them and you want to see them unfold for you in delightful ways. So that's Caradwyn. I hope this resonates with you. I hope you use her energies, because opening up to that can bring in some magical stuff. And I hope you have a wonderful day, and bye for now.